everybody. I'm Jonathan Randall, and welcome to another episode of How You Like Me Now. I hope everyone's doing well out there. I know that the people of Gaza are most definitely not doing well, and while their lives were horrible before October 7th, they have gotten so much worse. Hopefully there'll be a ceasefire soon. There was no episode of How You Like Me Now last week. I did release an episode of American Jew, the interview with documentary filmmaker Julia Basha, so please be sure to check out that episode. This is episode 50 of How You Like Me Now. Woohoo! I want to thank everybody who's been listening and for all the support I've been getting online. I know I had talked about changing up the format or possibly even ending this podcast now that it reached 50 episodes, and I am still deciding how I want to continue with this project. But for now, I'm not going to make any changes. And as long as bombs are being dropped on Gaza and killing innocent Palestinian civilians, I will keep talking about it and using this platform to spread awareness about Palestinian oppression and dehumanization. It's been over a month since Hamas attacked Israel, killing 1,400 people and kidnapping 241. Since then, Israel has killed over 10,000 Palestinians in Gaza, including 4,000 children. Personally, I don't understand how bombing where the hostages are being kept will at all ensure their safe return. Also, I've been told repeatedly that the leaders of Hamas all live in Qatar as billionaires, so I don't understand how they're going to be wiped out by demolishing Gaza when the leaders aren't even there. By the way, Hamas aren't the only ones holding people captive. Israel has over 2,000 Palestinians in administrative detention, which means they are being held indefinitely without any charges or a trial, which to me kind of sounds like a form of kidnapping. Also, since October 7th, 4,000 workers from Gaza have disappeared into special military detention camps. Can we get posters put all around the world of all these Palestinians who are being held by Israel against their will, or do their lives not matter? As most of the world is focused on Gaza, Israeli settlers in the West Bank have increased their violence towards Palestinians. Before the unfortunate attack on Israel on October 7th, at least 199 Palestinians were killed by Israeli forces and settlers. Since that attack, an additional 120 Palestinians have been killed, including over 30 children. Settler violence is a daily occurrence in the West Bank and has more than doubled since October 7th. Settlers put up roadblocks to prevent Palestinians from accessing their land. They set cars and homes on fire. They block access to water, vandalize Palestinian property, churches, and mosques. They steal livestock, cut down olive trees, verbally and physically attack Palestinians, and of course, murder them. Often all while being under the protection of the Israeli military. They do this all in an effort to drive Palestinians from their homes and seize more Palestinian land. Just in the last month, over 800 Palestinians have been displaced because of settler violence, which is a nice way of saying how Israeli citizens living in the occupied West Bank terrorize and kill Palestinians. These terror attacks by Israelis on Palestinians in the West Bank have been increasing every year, and even more under Netanyahu and his extremist government. Israel wants the world to believe that the Palestinians are the only reason there is no peace, but it does virtually nothing to stop the attack by settlers or to convict them for the crimes they commit. While Biden and even high-ranking members of the Israeli security condemn settler violence, they don't really take any actions to prevent or even stop them. According to the Israeli organization Yesh Din, only 3% of cases of violence by Israeli citizens against Palestinians ever lead to convictions. Hamas is not in control of the West Bank. And the ongoing violence by extremist settlers is a perfect example of how Israel isn't really interested in peace. If they were, they would be coming down hard on these settlers to stop their daily violence and illegal expansion. It's insane to me that Israelis and the Jewish community, they seem more concerned with people tearing down posters than the ongoing violent attack by Israeli settlers on Palestinians, which is obviously a huge obstacle to peace. One thing that has really been bothering me is how people want to equate attitudes towards Israel because of their ongoing violations of Palestinian human rights as being anti-Semitic or Jew hatred somehow. Israel uses Judaism as a religious shield to get away with its crimes, and it reflects poorly on Jews everywhere. While most Israelis are Jews, not all Jews are Israeli, and many of us are against the actions of Israel. Israel has replaced Judaism for far too many people who now don't care about the Torah or the values of Judaism, but worship a country. They don't believe in Judaism, they believe in Israelism. Judaism has been a religion for over 4,000 years. Zionism, as we know it, of a political movement, it started in 1897 by an atheist from Hungary named Theodor Herzl, who wanted to get the Jews out of Europe because of rising anti-Semitism taking place there. Now, obviously, Herzl was onto something because things in Europe only got worse for the Jews. But it has become clear that establishing the state of Israel in Palestine is anything but a safe haven for the Jewish people and is arguably the most dangerous place in the world for Jews. At its core, Zionism is an ideology that believes Jews have the right to establish their own state in their ancestral homeland. Personally, it's not that I think Israel doesn't have the right to exist. I just don't think it has the right to exist through the subjugation of Palestinians and by murdering them by the thousands. Why Herzl may have viewed a Jewish state as a way to escape the anti-Semitism of Europe, what he did not foresee was that by displacing the local population of Palestine for a Jewish state, it would create a new form of hatred for Jews based on the actions of Israel. It's ironic that in an attempt to escape anti-Semitism from Europeans, the Jews just ended up creating more hatred from a local population in Palestine, their descendants, and the Arab community. I want to read part of a pamphlet that Herzl wrote that really kicked off the modern political Zionism movement. The Jews who wish for a state will have it. We shall live at last as free men on our own soil and die peacefully in our own homes. The world will be freed by our liberty, enriched by our wealth, magnified by our greatness, and whatever we attempt there to accomplish for our own welfare will react powerfully and beneficially for the good of humanity. It's clear that even in Israel, Jews will die violently, and that what the Jews have done in Israel for their own welfare certainly has not benefited the Palestinian people. Herzl may have had the best intention for the Jewish people, but what actually occurred has only put Jews in more danger and created more hatred for us around the world. If you're not following me on social media, please do, at Jonathan Randall across all platforms. I'd appreciate your support on my Ko-fi page. I'll put the link in the description. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. I know the world's a crazy place right now, and there's a lot of information that isn't true and isn't right. So I ask you guys to please go out there, search for multiple sources, find out the truth. It's out there. I hope things will get better for the Palestinian people all over the world. People are standing up and protesting to end the bombing, to have a ceasefire, and that there will be freedom for Palestine. I'm Jonathan Randall. How you like me now?